Hey, welcome back. We are now on day 13 of the game development journey. Um, Today I didn't really get too much done, but I did get my units to be spawned and to respect spawn speeds. So I'll show you what that kind of looks like just on the code side for a moment. I have a supply manager component that is attached to anything that you want to manage supply. So I currently just allow anti-tank tanks to be spawned, and they have a 5-second cooldown. And then I also have anti-aircraft artillery tanks that are spawned, and they have a 10-second cooldown, but they also have a higher spawn priority. I also have the unit spawner component, which pretty much has its own cooldown. So every time you spawn a unit, you will wait at a minimum of 5 seconds before you spawn the next unit. Otherwise, you run the risk of spawning 100 units all at the same time, and that would not look or behave very well. So let's look at kind of what this looks like. I've got 2 land crawlers on opposing sides of this very small map just for testing. And I've also got a debug drone unit up here that is going to draw anti-aircraft fire from AA units. And each faction is going to be spawning units that go towards the opposing faction and engage along the way. So here's what it looks like. So we've got an anti-aircraft unit shooting at the drone already. We've got our own anti-aircraft unit. And it's also followed by a tank. So the anti-aircraft is spawned once every 10 seconds, I think. And tanks are spawned once every 5 seconds. So ideally we should see... Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, it gets a little bit loud because I have the spawn frequency really high, and I tried to have sound attenuation. But you can see that the anti-tanks are now shooting at the opposing tanks, and they're kind of engaging along the way. And it just turns into this huge mess of units. Oh, interesting, look at that. One of the issues currently is that tanks don't really respect collisions, so you can have 2 tanks on top of each other. So I need to have some code that prevents the tanks from moving forward if there's something blocking them from going forward. I think my frame rate is starting to drop. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, wow, it's really bad. Okay, we need to stop. Basically, I have some performance issues, which we don't care about at this stage in development, but we're just trying to get the functionality to work. And then later on, as we get further into the development cycle, we'll worry about tweaking performance to continuously hit that 60 frames per second target. Anyway, I still have some bugs and issues to work out with in terms of the units. So that's going to be my focus for probably the next day that I do development. Let's see. Yeah, so there's going to be a pretty big snowstorm coming up here in Seattle. We're expecting probably about 2 feet of snow. So I'm not going to be able to come to the office until the roads get cleared out. And that's pretty much going to shut down the whole entire city for about a week. So I expect that to have a pretty significant impact on development, which I really can't do anything about. So I think day number 14 update will probably be in a week or so. With that in mind, one thing that I like to do with development is have a notepad of the things that I'm currently working on and what needs to be worked on next, so I don't lose track of where I'm at in the production cycle. So keeping in mind that I'll be coming back to this in probably about a week, I'm going to have to write some notes to myself on where I left off so that I can pick it up and hit the ground running. So this is a cool little development trick. I like to think of this as building yourself on-ramps and off-ramps on a freeway, and right when you come in and start the day, you get into your development on-ramp to hit that optimal flow cycle in terms of development speed. So the on-ramp helps you get into development really quick. You hit your stride for a few hours, up to 8 maybe, and then right when you leave the day, you write yourself a note on where you're going to start working the next day so that you have another on-ramp. And what you want to do is give yourself really small but simple problems to get started with. These are designed to be small and approachable rather than these big, ginormous development challenges. This is a really great way to fight procrastination and to get started every day making consistent progress. I've found that if I leave myself a really big, challenging, and overwhelming problem for the next day, it's going to be something that makes me reluctant to dive right into development. So I hope that helps some other people who are trying to do indie game development and maintain that consistent progress and motivation. So thanks. I'll see you guys probably in about a week. Bye.